Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. As the summer is rapidly coming to a close, we want to put you on the right path for success. The Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH is one way to do that. Through this agency, students at the primary and secondary levels will receive an additional $10,000 to help with back-to-school expenses. To top it off, today we'll provide you with more ways parents and students have a better back-to-school experience. All this and more when we return.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, August 26, 2022. National Housing Trust, NHT contributors in the corporate area can expect to benefit from just over 1,500 housing units in the next 3 years. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the 13 projects, which are spread across Kingston and St. Andrew, will be delivered between 2022 and 2025. 3 of the developments, providing a total of 272 units, will be completed this year at Metcalfe Street, Vineyard Town and Foreshore Estate. In 2023, another 640 units will come on the market at Bellrock, St. Paul's Lane, Surbiton, Penwood, Maxfield and Howard Avenue. And between 2024 and 2025, another 4 developments comprised of 593 housing units will be available in the communities of White Wing, Rasta City, Bay Farm Road and Ruthven Phase 2.
These are all on track, being developed, and will come to market as they are completed for the benefit of the contributors.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement as he handed over 32 duplex units in the Majesty Gardens community on Wednesday. The Ministry of Education will begin the distribution of textbooks during the first week of the new school year, which begins on Monday, September 5. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams made the announcement on Wednesday at the 58th Annual Jamaica Teachers Association JTA Conference in Montego Bay. She says approximately $2 billion has been spent to purchase textbooks for students at the primary and secondary levels for the 2022-2023 academic year.
And I can report that with regards to books, primary school procurement is completed and distribution to commence in the first week of school. For our secondary schools, the books are already here in Jamaica and they will be out by the first week of school.
In the meantime, she says the ministry will continue the rollout of electronic textbooks in secondary schools, which was piloted during the pandemic.
All our students from grade 7 to 11, and I'm not afraid to say all because it's electronic, will have their English 1, 2, 3 books and the CSEC English book in electronic format. We have all of the email addresses for all our students. We will directly send the link to them so that they can access the books.
Meanwhile, the Education Minister is asserting that technology will remain a permanent component of Jamaica's educational system. The integration and use of technology, particularly distance learning, has been accelerated during the COVID-19 pandemic due to the need for social distancing. But while face-to-face has resumed, Minister Favour Williams says the utilization of information and communications technology, ICT, in the classroom, alongside more conventional methods of teaching, will be advantageous for the nation.
It will not replace teachers. You will still be in the classroom. We're just making it more exciting and more interesting for the teacher and the student.
The minister was addressing the investor briefing for one-on-one educational services held at the Terra Nova All-Suite Hotel in St. Andrew recently. She said the ministry would continue partnering with one-on-one educational services to deliver programs that assist students and the learning process. Still on education, Government is providing $2.03 billion in back-to-school grants to beneficiary students under the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH, and the Poor Relief Program. These were outlined in a press release from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security earlier this week. Over 150,000 students in primary and secondary schools are each set to receive $10,000 in added benefits provided by the Special Economic Relief Program, SERP. This is in addition to the annual PATH back-to-school grant of $3,500 per beneficiary student, which was introduced in September 2018. The back-to-school grants are being delivered to eligible families by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, along with the regular bi-monthly PATH payout, which began on Monday, August 22. The ministry has also budgeted $40 million for post-secondary grants as incentives to former beneficiary students who continue to pursue studies at levels up to associate degrees. And $424 million in tertiary bursaries is budgeted for those pursuing bachelor's degrees in tertiary institutions accredited by the University Council of Jamaica. Each tertiary bursary is valued at $100,000 per year and is available for up to 4 years of study, conditioned on satisfactory performance. In other news, farmers can now contact the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, to get their first acre of land prepared for free. This is done through the Grow Smart, Eat Smart production program. It will involve the ministry covering the costs of preparing up to 1 acre of land for 5,000 farmers, primarily youth and women in the sector. Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says this is consistent with the ministry's commitment to provide a $63 million special incentive program for land preparation, the first tranche of which has already been issued to RADA.
We are going to continue to push for the remaining funds to be distributed in short order.
He made the disclosure at a handover ceremony on Wednesday, where 2 backhoes were provided to support land preparation activities in farming communities in St. Thomas and in Westmoreland. And finally, discussions are underway with the Jamaica Karting Association and the Jamaica Millennium Motoring Club to further develop motorsport locally. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, made the disclosure during a recent courtesy call with young Jamaican karting star Alex Powell.
The future looks good for go-kart racing and for motor racing. And I'm in discussion with the presidents of both entities to see how I can make a contribution as the Minister of Sports to having it grow, the sports grow, and to see how we can leverage the opportunity that exists coming out of the success of Alex, for example, and what he has contributed to the brand Jamaica internationally through his efforts.
Minister Grange says the youngsters' racing exploits have brought immense pride to the country and will further strengthen the sport locally. Meanwhile, Powell, whose goal is to race on the F1 stage, has his eyes firmly set on the upcoming World Championships.
It's the biggest event of the year, so a lot of preparation goes into that. Hopefully we can take over the form that we had from the European Championship and put all the effort into the World Championship.
Powell made history when he signed to a Formula One team at age 11, becoming the first Caribbean driver to do so. He will be competing in the prestigious FIA Karting World Championships from September 15 to 18 in Sarno, Italy. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Are you prepared for back to school? Did you get the books, the pencils, the pens? Well, just to help you get started on the right track and keep you from getting caught up in the hustle that the school rush brings, here are some recommendations you can check off to make sure everything is properly organized.
It's that time of year when we say farewell to the carefree days of summer and welcome a new academic year filled with loads of promise. We want to ensure there's a smooth transition for all stakeholders. So, we've prepared a last-minute back-to-school checklist to ease any worries you may have. Take notes. First tip, know the rules of the road. No, we don't mean the road code. What we mean is familiarizing yourself with the routes to and from the school. That way, when school resumes, you and your child can use the quickest and most convenient way to get there. And what's even more important, your child won't get lost. Now is also the time for you to finalize pickup and drop-off arrangements with taxis or buses. And be sure to inform the teacher of these arrangements. Your child's health is paramount. Visit the doctor to get his or her immunization up to date and have a complete medical check done. A dentist visit is also on the list. By now, all the school registration documents would have been submitted. If not, use the orientation day to turn in all outstanding documents. You may also want to use the orientation to drop off your child's textbooks to his or her teacher. This way, you'll be able to steer clear of the traditional first day of school rush. Next tip, deportment matters. By now, you should be aware of the school's uniform requirements. If the attire is not quite up to scratch, make the necessary adjustments. That may include exchanging the shoes or bags or making alterations to the uniform. Also ensure that your child's hair is groomed to meet the school's standards. Stay ahead of the curve on the home front. Assign a section of your home for all the things your child will need to function during school time. That way, he or she will know where to look when they need any school-related supplies. Ensure your child has been familiarizing him or herself with the information in the textbooks. Nutrition is also critical. Be sure to purchase additional food items to cover breakfast and possibly lunch for your child. Summer was fun, we know, late nights and even later mornings. But with school on the horizon, have your child return to his or her bedtime routine. Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Lowering the sodium content in children's diets today can help prevent heart disease later in their life, especially for those who are overweight. Shake the salt habit, shop smart and cook smart. Use less or no salt when cooking. Try using fresh herbs and seasonings to add more flavor. Limit the consumption of salty snacks. Take the time to carefully read the nutrition labels on food products to identify those high in salt and choose the healthier options. Remember, no more than 2 grams of salt per day from all food sources for children under 11 years of age.
Leaders in the various ministries have jumped on board the government's initiative to improve the public sector. In our upcoming feature, you'll learn about a leader who's promoting change within the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hi Dunstan, I see you starting your day right. How are you?
I'm good, I'm here, I'm alive in this very, very interesting time in life, and I'm happy to be here leading and navigating through what is one of the most challenging times in the history of this country.
What are your morning rituals?
My morning rituals are like everyone else, I get up, I give thanks, I engage with my family, and I ensure that I link with that philosophy that says, thy will be done.
What song is a must on your morning playlist?
I'm Roman Catholic, and one of my favorite hymns is a hymn that repeats Jeremiah that says, we are called to act with justice. We are called to love tenderly. We are called to serve one another and walk humbly with God. I'll catch you later.
All right. In one sentence, tell us what you do.
I am the accounting officer for the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
What was the most difficult decision for you this week?
Boy, the most difficult decision for me this week was the decision that I had to make to reduce staff complement, because after COVID, some persons who were employed for the COVID engagement, we had to terminate their contracts. And it was sad to see a lot of them go because they were so important to the overall implementation of the COVID campaign.
Do you feel that you inspired or motivated anyone last week?
Yes, I believe I have inspired my team. Morning, everyone. Morning. And I believe that the other colleagues that I engage with in terms of the regional directors, the regional technical directors, we had very robust meetings over the last couple of days around the budget, and we are inspired to work.
Has anyone or anything made you feel inspired lately?
Yes, I am inspired by the team of persons that I work with here. My special assistant, who gives me all the support that I need. My policy analysts that are assigned to my office, they are such an important part of the work that we do here in the executive office.
What's your proudest career moment to date?
My proudest career moment is working at the PATH program, where every decision that I made during my tenure there impacted the lives of so many people. If it were just improving the payment access or increasing the number of persons that got the benefit, or it could be the opportunities that we gave to young people to change their lives through active labor market interventions. Those were very proud moments in my life as we impacted and transformed so many lives, especially when we talk about the persons who come from PATH households and receive so many accolades in terms of their academic achievement.
What would you like your legacy to be in the public sector?
My legacy will be a change agent, and I want to be a person who sets the foundation for the reform that is so well needed in the public sector. I know that I myself will not be able to achieve all of the changes, but to set the foundation so that the baton can be passed to the next set of leaders coming into the public sector, and they can take it and transform this bureaucracy into a system that provides a lot of support for the people of this country.
Where's the most interesting place your work has taken you?
Ethiopia. I remember working with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, and under that project we went to Ethiopia to experience what community intervention and enablement looks like. And that was a very powerful experience to see that country move through some of the most challenging times of its history and come on the other side of history looking far more robust and far more sustained and resilient.
What are you working on that you are excited about?
There's a lot of things that I'm working on that I'm very excited about. One of the major things that I'm excited about right now is the intervention to improve and expand our cancer treatment program in Jamaica by ensuring that in terms of radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and other services relating to cancer, we can provide support to people who get this devastating diagnosis, and we can provide the help for a very catastrophic financial hit that families get and enable them to live fruitful and beneficial lives even after coming out of this traumatic experience.
And before we go, can you recommend one book you think everyone should read?
My book of transformation is The Children of Sisyphus by Orlando Patterson. It's a tale of a woman who lived in Dungle, which was what Tivoli was called, and she came out of the Dungle, became a little bit empowered, but then her poverty brought her back straight to the Dungle. So it's an experience of what poverty is and how poverty captures your mental capacities and can disable you if you are not careful and if you do not understand that poverty is a sickness of the mind.
All right, thank you so much, Dunstan.
Sure, later.
Have a good one.
Yeah, man.
Sustainable Sustainable agriculture is the practice of farming in a way that satisfies society's current demands for food and textiles without endangering the ability of present or future generations to meet their own needs. Let's learn how one farmer took on the role of simultaneously providing for her family and the nation.
Women does everything, and farming is no different. Yes, it's a little bit hot and it's a little bit messy and you get your hands dirty and all of that. But, you know, old time people said if you want good, your nose have to run.
These are the remarks of our female farmer, Elaine Sadler, a lady who recognizes that effort pays dividends and having family support makes the job easier.
I grew up seeing my parents doing this basically all their lives. They were farmers and shopkeepers, and so I think from an early stage that would have been in us.
Elaine decided to fulfill her destiny by starting a family-owned business in order to preserve her parents' legacy. Like most journeys, it started out with trials and errors.
When I just started here, I would have planted about 5 acres of cantaloupe and yellow squash at the time. And I remember we had trucks and trucks and truckloads of these produce, but we did not have market at the time. I was young in the business at the time, and maybe I did not do my research well to find the market before, and that was a major, major problem.
The farming road was a rugged one.
Farm roads is usually a problem for any farmer in Jamaica, I think, and we have been having this problem now for many, many years.
But Elaine is a lady with a strong will to see things through to completion.
We didn't allow that to deter us anyways. So as it is right now, I would not say I'm having major problems because I am supplying to my own business, and that is excellent.
With the intention of creating a family business, Elaine enlisted her brother's help in running the farm.
I could not again do it on my own. I manage 5 acres of this land here, owner and manager of 5 acres for myself. But we spoke about 15 to 20 acres and he's involved in that, the rest of it. So it's a family-owned business similarly to my restaurant.
First, I must say I have a very good sister, somebody who loves to incorporate family. And she was always looking out for us to have something that we are in charge of. And that's mainly it. My daily work is to see to it that everything goes as it's supposed to be. Scout the field so that we have proper sanitation for weeds, pests, fungicide, fungus, and for fertilization. I must see to that.
Being in the industry for about 20 years, Elaine has learned a thing or two about crop rotation.
Usually we have to rotate our crops as we are directed by RAD and those people who guide us and help us. It is not wise to plant the same thing over and over and over. And so we would have been doing several things here over time. I planted onions and it was beautiful. We had a wonderful crop. But we could not do that again. So most of this land that you see, we are now preparing them again to plant something different.
And to safeguard the yield.
You have to monitor the crops all the time to see if and when they need spraying, and we use all the recommended pesticides and herbicides, working with RADA and the experience of my team and manager here. So they know exactly what to use to get rid of fungus and pests.
Despite having a busy schedule, Elaine still finds time to help her neighborhood by utilizing her car to deliver the items to her neighbors while also making additional investments.
I think being able to just purchase the stuff that the people grow in this community is of great help, because we basically buy from the farmers in this community.
This begs the question: should women think about farming as a realistic career option?
Certainly, why not?
I would definitely encourage any young miss to do it.
Now is the time to really get into farming. I think it's a perfect time. And farming is not what it used to be back in the days when my parents used to be in the broiling sun all day in their boots with a little hat and sun and, you know, digging. Now we have tractors and stuff that does our plowing and all of that on the farm. So it makes it a little easier, and it makes it easier for women to manage a farm.
You too may become a part of the effort to develop a sustainable agriculture system just like Elaine did, whether it be in farming, food processing, distribution, or waste management. It's the call for Jamaicans to regenerate our productivity.
School is almost back in session and we want to hear from you. JIS took the streets of Montego Bay to find out if you're ready for school to begin.
I am very prepared. The crisis that seemed to loom has really little effect on us because this is not something new.
Well, I don't have any children going to school of my own, but I have my granddaughter here that I take care, she lives with me. And we're 90% prepared.
School fee not pay yet, and I book them not buy yet, and just the regular exercise book. Well, you know, we have to get the textbook them and get some uniform, but we're not fully prepared yet.
Well, for so far, just books me have leave, but the books them turn up.
How about you? Have you started preparing their uniforms, books, and other supplies? What about the medical to ensure they're fit and ready? Talk to your kids about what to expect in the new academic year. The clock's ticking. Get to checking off that back-to-school list so your children can be equipped, prepped, and ready for a new year of learning.
To the end of our program. Get a recap of all you saw here and more on our website at www.jis.gov.jm. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.